In this project I will make a surveillance camera that is wireless and battery operated. But I will not use these lame cases. I'm going to use a retro camera that is also dummy camera. Actually, I'm going to make a sleeper camera. At least I'm going to try to combine that case with the A9 wireless camera that I bought for $2. So let's start jamming everything. Of course, we start disassembling this dinosaur. And under the main cover there is a slot for batteries. I tried to put batteries supplied with DC voltage, but LED never blinked. The ravages of time destroyed it. I thought it only had ability to blink, but underneath is whole mechanism for turning the camera. I managed to start it only by directly connecting plus and minus to the DC motor, and it came to life. It's interesting that it works, but it's also interesting that someone could think that this camera was real and not fake one. I don't know why it doesn't work with batteries. Probably there was a break somewhere in line because the wires are very thin. I'm a little sorry to take it apart, but since I saw that you can buy them cheaply online, I decided to continue with removing the interior so that I could see is there room inside for stuff. I'm satisfied with how much space there is. I think it will fit 4 pieces of 18650 lithium batteries without any problems. It will be necessary to cut, drill and grind a lot of plastic, but I don't think there will be any major problems in terms of space. Next is the disassembly of the A9 camera, which I doubt is original due to video quality and the fact that it cost only $2. Disassembly was easy. Only 2 screws hold the case and you can immediately see magnet on the back, small battery and board. The battery should be 200 mAh, but there are no markings on it anywhere. Of course, I won't throw it away. I will reuse it for this Bluetooth keyboard. It has a faulty battery. I have two. I repaired one with a big 18650 battery. I've been using this keyboard for years and it hasn't discharged, and it is great for workshop. But I don't like to have one, but I would like to have one that is nice and working. It is interesting how the whole camera is cheaper than if I buy just a replacement battery. True, the quality of the camera is questionable, but still, $2 is $2. Everything is easily disassembled with a little care. I kept all the parts and screws because I don't know what I will need when I put everything back together. And after taking everything apart, I started to modify the front end of the camera lens. I drilled a hole that was a little off center, but I corrected that with a Dremel tool and continue to drilling so I can widen the hole, and it turned out great. Naturally, I widened the hole little by little because I wanted it to be as small as possible, as less noticeable as possible. For testing, I connected the camera to the mobile phone so that I could see if the edges of the plastic were visible. I made a mistake because I did not assemble everything, i.e. I should connect the lens housing with its gray base. Then I should try it. But not biggie. Later in the video I had to widen the hole a little bit more. While doing these modifications, I charged the batteries in the background, and I'm testing their capacity to find 4 pieces that are approximately the same capacity. This is important because all 4 cells will be connected in parallel. While I was testing the camera, I realized that I was heating up a lot, and in the same 2 places on both sides of the board. The main chip and the camera are heating up a lot. Since I have a silicon thermal pad, I decided to put it under the camera and a small aluminum cooler on top of the chip, and I glued everything with MS polymer, so nothing could move and, for example, create a short circuit. Polymer glue comes in handy in cases like this, because it won't loosen when it heats up like some others glue would, and it is easy to apply and remove. Most often you can see these adhesives on commercial electronic components such as capacitors. While gluing it, I try to glue everything I have, because I like to leave 24 hours for the glue to dry. I also have to slightly modify the micro USB cable to fit it, and I will use it to power the camera. I like the idea of it being connected via USB because I already have a connector. It gives it more options and it is easy for me to replace the cable or if something goes wrong with it. I finished testing the batteries, so I immediately prepared 4 cells. As I said, they are connected in parallel. Whenever I have laptop batteries, I try to leave some nickel strip on them because I don't have an electric battery welder. When I leave a strip, it makes soldering easier and the solder stays on them and heat does not spread directly to the battery as much. I know the lithium batteries should not be soldered, but what can I do? I have approximately a 6000 milliamp hours battery, which is a big improvement over the original battery, and I think I should be able to record over 24 hours without any problems. The next thing I started adding is the holes for the infrared LEDs for night recording that I took off remotes. And I know what everyone is waiting for in this video. Here's a close-up of the soldering that is out of focus. Nice. Everything seems to fit without a problem. I'm planning to replace its fake cable with a real USB cable. And I connect everything with the TP4056 charger, but I'm missing the on-off option. So I will use the original hole and switch, but the original switch was faulty, so I took another one from the solar lamp and it fits perfect. Also, I did put, just in case, a 3 amp fuse. The charging current will be never higher than 1 or 2 amps. After soldering the LEDs, it was time to test it. Infrared light is not visible to the eye, but should be visible through the camera. I tried all kinds of things to activate the infrared LEDs, but I never succeed. They were always too weak or not working. I even burnt one while trying to increase the brightness. I don't know if it's weak or because the infrared filter on the camera, but in the end I gave up on them. I took a little break from the testing and ran a cable that will be used to charge the batteries or connect them directly to the AC network. For example, on a mobile phone charger. I gave up on the TP4056 battery charger as well, because I wasn't getting enough voltage to power the camera, and I decided to use the electronics from the old power bank that I had. And when I had no problems whatsoever anymore with powering camera with it. I even used the USB slot on the power bank, so I kept soldering to the minimum. It's assembly and testing time. I tried to use the already existing holes that I had for mounting, to make the job easier, and everything even turned out okay. if you take into account of the kind of plastic everything is made of. I don't know if I mentioned some of the details of the camera. What I like about it is that it is wireless, but also has a SD card to which it can also record. There are two switches on the board. One is for turning it on and off, but basically the camera is always on when you power it. And the second one is for connecting the device to the camera. The front end is easy to disassemble and I can get them relatively easy if necessary. When I mention what I like, I will also mention the price. What I don't like about the camera is app and that it's not suitable for night recording. The quality and the resolution of the image is bad, and sometimes it can lose the signal and sometimes it works without problem. There is a hole in the base of the camera where the charging cable connector can be hidden. I like that feature. I did glue the infrared LEDs even though they don't work, so that it looked nice, and I hope that in the future I might be able to make them work. Maybe. I attached the magnets to the top cover that attaches to the battery. Definitely nothing is waterproof on this camera, but at least I have easy access. The first HDD magnet that I put on the stand was too weak for the weight of the camera, but the second one, which is thicker and stronger, had no problem with that. It's a thick boy! Everything looks okay after adjusting the camera position a bit. In addition to connecting with a mobile phone or a virtual Android, the camera can be connected with Samsung DeX if your mobile phone supports it. And I have one that has a broken screen and is perfect for that. When I connect it with USB-C dock, I have live view of recording. Apart from the image quality, the camera does not look bad at all. I think it would fool most people. It looks fake, no doubt about it. The idea is not even bad. Here is a couple of shots. I tried to change the quality of the image from the bad to worse because I was trying to figure out when it would lose the signal. But even if he loses it, there is no problem. I can always download the footage from the SD card. I think that in the end I will mostly use it as camera for monitoring 3D prints. Performance in a larger housing with the LEDs for night recording would be much better, but you get what you pay for.